to Shoot Time in the Morning with Mitch. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another wonderful episode of Shoot Time in the Morning with Mitch. All right, back in business, we are learning about our muscles and how resistance helps them. And the key takeaway is just to remember, whatever the natural function is of the muscle, well, we add some resistance to it and we can strengthen it. And you want to have strong muscles because they support our bones and our movement, and that keeps you healthy. So, we've learned so far our legs, our hamstrings, our quadriceps, and our calf muscles, all right? And today, we're going to learn a little bit about our lower back, which is known as our erector spinae, and also in conjunction, our gluteus maximus, and by default, the hamstrings with the gluteus maximus as a secondary muscle. So, remember, we're walking, we can bend over, stand up, do all kinds of movement. Well, that's because our muscles allow us to do that. So, when we're bent over, all right, the muscle that allows us to stand straight up using our back is in our lower back, and it's called the erector spinae. All right. Below that is the Roman soldier, Mr. Mitchell.
Gluteus maximus.
Captain Gluteus Maximus. All right. And the gluteus maximus extends the hip. All right. The hip bends, and the gluteus maximus extends. Now notice there's a difference between bending at the lower spine and bending at the hips. Okay, my hips are right here. So let's head to the weight room and find out how we can strengthen our gluteus maximus and our erector spinae. All right, Mr. Morton-Hemwig's deal is still in here. Mr. Morton-Hemwig is going to have something going here, and we're going to be right back with you in the weight room.
What's wrong with this picture? Is that what we call this part of the video?
Sure, we can call it that. What's wrong with this
What's
picture?
wrong with that picture?
Find something
And
out.
that
What do you
picture.
mean what's wrong with that picture?
All right, here we go.
Welcome back to the weight room.
All right, we're in our legs corner here because, well, not part of our legs, it's part of our lower body. That's where our gluteus maximus is. And this machine right here is the Glute Ham Machine, but also can be built to develop our erector spinae. And let's see how it works here.
All right. Here is the Glute Ham Machine, and it adjusts in a few ways that we got to be aware of, okay? So first and foremost, it has two adjustable pads. You can adjust them for the height of your body, all right? The height of your body accordingly. And I'm going to put them right there because I know how I am here with my legs here. So I'm going to show you first how to work the hams and the glutes in the Glute Ham Machine as primary function, okay? So I'm going to put this down with the tab here. I'm going to show you how to get in this one. And it's a little tricky. And it might be a little scary for you because you're going to do some falling, but it's going to be a controlled fall of your upper body, all right? So, first thing I want to do is, right here on either side, you can see there are open slots. My feet are going to go inside of those, okay? My feet are going to go inside of those. I'm going to get onto the device. First I'm going to straddle over it, take off my keys here, so that way I don't have any problems with it hitting the ground. All right, I'm going to grab the handles, and I have to be a little acrobatic. All right, going to put my feet in like such, okay, and then I'll pull my other feet up. And I'm going to make one minor adjustment just because I know where I am there. I'm going to slide my foot in like such, and then like such. And as you can see, my legs are able to go at a 90-degree angle. All right. Now remember, the purpose of the hamstring is to bend the leg at the knee. But my legs are already bent, Mr. Shoemaker. How does that work? Great question, all right? What you're going to do is, you're going to come all the way up to the top, and then you're going to drop down to the bottom, and when you drop down to the bottom, you're going to squeeze your gluteus maximus and your hamstrings and come back up. Now I'm going to show you, all right? Come all the way down. There my legs are straight. Now to come back up, I'm going to bend my legs just like I would do, fire myself back up. Come back down, and bend my legs to fire myself back up. One more time. Down, fire, all the way back up. Now, what that's going to do, due to the nature of bending the legs, using your entire torso body weight to pull back on your hamstrings, right? Goes from straight to bent. You're bending back up using your whole body. A lot of pressure on your hamstrings in that. It may look easy. That might be one of the hardest things in the weight room, guys. I bet you that maybe a quarter of you can do that. All of you can do it, and you can work towards it in small incremental steps of improvement, but it's a very difficult exercise. The second thing that we can do here, if we make an adjustment, is work our erector spinae. Now the difference is such. If you look right here, right, we have the distance from the platform is just enough to allow our knees to be on the front side of that platform, right? That means the pivot point, or the lever pivot point, is my knees when I'm doing a glute ham raise. If I want to work my lower back, I need to change that so it becomes my hips. So what I do here, if you look at this device, you can unscrew so it's now a little loose. You pull the tab up and you slide the device backwards, okay? Now I've extended it about 3 pegs, all right? Doing that, I'm going to tighten it back in so it's nice and tight. Now it doesn't move, and now I'm going to get back on the device. Now what is the function of our erector spinae? It's to help us straighten our spine. Now, helps us stand back up when we're standing up, but if I'm laying down, same thing. If I raise my back, it's going to straighten my spine and strengthen my erector spinae. So I'm going to get in the device much the same way as I did before. Slide my feet in. Okay? Now you notice this time, instead of my knees being there, my hips are right on the pad. And then, this is where it might get a little tricky for some of you, because you don't like to fall down, all right? I'm going to bend all the way over as low as I can go. And then, I'm going to come back up and straighten my back. Why don't you catch up to the side, Mr. Montanic, if you can, all right? See, my back is straight. I'm going to come all the way down low. And then, I'm going to come all the way back up straight. Now, Mr. Shoemaker is somewhat of an old pro with this. So, it's challenging when you use your body weight. But what kind of room is this? It's a weight room. So weight room is what provides our resistance. So you can come on over and grab a weight. I'm going to grab a 25-pound weight for demonstration purposes.
Oh, sorry, you scared me, Mr. Mitchell.
I'm going to grab the plate here. I'm going to bring it on over to the spot so I can set it up. And for this one, usually you have a partner hand to you, but because of the pandemic we're in, I'm just going to put it right here so it stands up straight. All right, I'm going to do a little magic, so hopefully it stays straight up.
Ooh, magic!
All right, I'm going to get back into the position that I was in. My feet on either side, nice and braced, making sure my hip is now on the pad so it's ready to pivot. And then when I go down to the bottom, now I'm going to grab the weight. When I grab the weight, all right, I'm going to bring it up to my chest, and now it's adding 25 pounds to my torso. I'm going to go down low, come all the way up straight. Down low, all the way up straight. Down low, all the way up straight. Now, when I'm done, I just simply place that gently back there, grab my handles, come on up, and move up. Now, it's highly important that, one, you have your partner with you, and they understand how much weight you're capable of working with, so you don't make any mistakes. And two, when you're done, you don't leave weights just lying around. You should put it back on the rack where you got it from. So I'm going to grab it and bring it right back where I started.
That reminds me of a song, Mr. Shoemake. Get right back where you started from. You remember that one, Mr. Mitchell?
Not the way you sing it like that.
Huh.
So,
Let me ask you this, Mr. Shoemaker. I'm telling my kids for the final that they're going to have to know the muscle and the name of the machine that works that muscle.
sure.
So, once again, what is the name of that machine?
Okay, technically that is a glute ham machine. It also can be considered a trunk lift machine as well, too.
Okay.
It's a hybrid machine because, as we said, when we adjust the platform like this, is with your hips are the pivot point, then only your back is moving, and that is the trunk lift. All right, if we move it forward, remember we can unscrew it, pull it forward, and then our knee would be the pivot point, and then since we're bending the leg at the knee joint, that would be the hamstring. It also is the glute ham because you're straightening the hamstring as well. I mean the hips. So it's a glute ham machine, and it works both devices.
Okay, so glute ham and trunk lift would be the names. Either
Absolutely.
one.
Either would be acceptable.
Okay.
All right, back to the headquarters, guys. And look, we're all at different stages of life here. Mr. Mitchell, perhaps you can tell us on the way to the weight room, why might want to have a strong back?
When I'm hiking, when I'm biking, when I'm doing anything that involves a lot of movement, going uphill, this is where I feel it, right in my lower back all the time, especially anytime I'm hill climbing. It's the lower back that is the first thing that's going to hurt. My quads aren't going to hurt first. It's my erector spine that's going to hurt first. So I totally love hiking. I like biking and I like climbing. So for me, I gotta have a good, strong erector spine.
Absolutely, absolutely. Get the erector spinae in there and get a nice, firm back, and then the gluteus maximus controls your hips and the hamstrings, the bending of your knees. If you have a strong, what's called posterior chain, your gluteus maximus and your hamstrings, you can not only lift a lot of weight, you also be able to jump high and run very fast. It's key to athletics.
Oh yeah, I tell my kids all the time, there's so much power in your lower body. So much power for so many sports.
I have a quick question for you guys. Out of all the family members that you have, first name them and then quickly tell us something that was of interest about one of them. Mr. Mitchell?
Well, I have two sisters and a brother growing up, and I shared my room with my brother. He was an older brother, 6 years older than me, and I shared my room with him. And I guess the thing I always remember was, man, that kid could snore.
Yeah.
He was a snorer. I'd have to bang on the wall, throw his shoe, all kinds of things to get him to stop snoring. So yeah, snoring and my older brother.
That'll do it.
How about you, Mr. Shoemake?
Well, I have one sister who's about 5 years older than myself, and I had mother and father, or Mr. and Mrs. Shoemake. The real Mr. Shoemake is my father, but there we go. And I think the thing that I can remember most about living in that household, my father did snore, much like Mr. Mitchell's older brother. But what I remember the most is having to get up in the morning. My parents had their own bathroom, and my sister and I shared a bathroom for showering and getting dressed and all that stuff in the morning. And getting up, if I didn't make it up right on time, my sister got in the bathroom before I did. It would be 2 hours before I could get back into business. She was just, make up all that stuff. So that's the biggest thing I remember, getting up and battling to beat her to the bathroom in the morning. And I'm glad that's over.
Well, I live with my mom and dad, my brother Marty, my brother Shannon, and my sister Darcy. And one thing I remember about Marty, my oldest brother, when he would sleep, he'd put the sheet over his head, and he would just have a little hole with the snout sticking out so he could breathe. Really, really odd. Really, really odd. Just the snout. So everything was covered but the snout. Still does it to this day. Hey, to my right, your middle, is the Jolly Geographer.
Ooh,
Jolly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, last time around. you didn't get it, we asked the question, what is the name of the bay that is between San Francisco and Santa Cruz? If you're driving down Highway 1 on the coast, all right, it's where Mavericks surf competition is. It's also a place where they have the largest great white shark bites in the world, and that is called Half Moon Bay. All right, I'm sure you heard of it. You may not have thought of it. Half Moon Bay. Mr. Shoemaker especially likes to go there because they have great seafood, and not only do they have great seafood, but they also have beautiful, cool weather. When it's 110 degrees here, it's usually like 70 there. It's perfect and wonderful. I really like it. Now, continue on that path here. Here's a question that you guys may or may not know, but it's good knowledge. All right? An earthquake is basically two plates coming together where a fault line hits. All right? Now, one of the largest fault lines in the world is running through our state, and it's very close to us. All right? Now, it runs right past 280, and it's named after a lake. All right? It's not the other way around. The lake is not named after the fault line. The fault line was named after the lake. What is the name of that major fault line and that lake?
And now, to your left, my right, Sports Factor.
All right. Again, it's my mission. It's my mission now to make sure that you guys know your sports. You know, hey, I'm a PE teacher. Here's the sports question today. All right. I played a lot of sports when I was a kid. Growing up on the East Coast, when it got winter time, we'd go down to the Bronx River, we'd shovel off all the snow, the river would freeze, and we'd start playing hockey.
Woo!
So I love hockey, and I've been watching hockey for a long time. In fact, probably the greatest game I ever saw was the Olympics, when the USA beat Russia in hockey. It was probably the greatest game I ever saw. I'm including all sports.
Do you believe in miracles?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes!
So, that game was played in what state and what town? That is the question. And actually, I even had a third part. Which Olympics was it? What year was that? Hey, about a three-part question. Name the state, name the town, name the year of the Miracle on Ice.
That's worth the bonus point in my class. I'll give you a bonus point if you know that without Googling.
That's a three-pronged question.
That is a three-pronged, my friend.
Woo, he is the Sports Factor. Hey, here's a joke for you from the joke jester. Listen closely. What did one wall say to the other wall? I'll meet you at the corner. I'll tell you what, these jokes, they keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper. It's like being on a submarine. You go on the submarine, you're going down, you're going deeper waves.
Hey, Mo! What in the world? Well, follow the yellow brick road home. We'll be back, baby. Now, what are we doing here?
Well, same thing as normal. Building healthy relationships.
And what's the purpose of Bret Hart?
HR squared.
Honesty, respect, responsibility. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're glad to have you back here. Remember, all right, just keep on pushing yourself. Sometimes these new workouts we do, they're kind of hard. It's designed for that. Make you get better with small incremental steps of improvement, one step at a time. Try and be a little bit better today than you were yesterday. And keep on pushing. Push on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Push!